morning, Bellingham. Denis and I are here together to give you another update on some of the developments that are happening in town here. As you know, I forget when it was, in the spring or winter, we started doing updates initially as COVID, but then we're like, okay, let's let the town know about all the amazing things that are happening. I'm sure those of you that come through the center of town are very much aware of what we got going on, but today our plan is to really actually talk to you specifically about what's going on now and what you can expect over the next year or so is really the scope of this project, right?
Kind of our own version of Unplugged. We hear a lot of rumors about what's happening in the town center. Initially, I was getting calls from people asking about the Rotary.
Right, that
What's
Rotary thing keeps
that Rotary in the town
surfacing.
center. It's not a Rotary in the town center. No Rotaries planned in town. Probably 6 or 7 years ago, it was one of the things that maybe it was an option that was talked about. Certainly up in Hartford Avenue it was, but as far as the town center goes, it's a widening project, and we're going to go out there in just a few minutes and take a look at it and kind of show people what's actually happening. It's pretty impressive what's the amount of work that's been done just in the last month or two. The new light posts are up. Walgreens sign has come down. A new one's going to be going up. Tremendous widening all the way back to the town hall. But the idea is to improve the capacity, the amount of capacity, the stacking in that town center, so we don't have the backups that we have.
Right.
Nothing's perfect. It's not going to be 100% improved, but funded through some grants and mitigation funds from different developers, and we have the experts here today to talk to us a little bit about it. So if you two gentlemen can slide right over. Yes, you're an expert.
You sound like you know more about it than I do.
No, that's because I listen, I pay attention when you come before. Don DiMartino is our longtime DPW director. Don's been with us for over 30 years and does a tremendous job for us, and has helped to put together the funding for this project. A lot of grant work, a lot of mitigation funds from different developers. And Drew, I'm going to let you pronounce your own name because last name because I've already forgotten. Is with CHA Engineers, and they're the designers. So Drew.
Yeah, thanks, Denis. It's Drew Valkovic with CHA.
Right. Yeah. And Don, maybe you can just talk to us a little bit about the big picture. How much and how this project all came to fruition. I know it's been on the books for over a decade.
It's one of those things. It's obviously it's the center of town, two major routes, the north-south and east-west. The state still won't let us put a toll booth up and collect them. the pass-through revenue. So, but they did come forward with a MassWorks grant, which is going to put up $1.8 million of the $2.2 million project. So that's obviously a significant chunk. And then with the hard work of our town planner and the planning board, various developers, mostly warehouses that aren't exactly right next door to it, have put up over $550,000 of additional funds. So we have enough money to cover the construction. We do pay Drew's company to do inspection, which is a requirement under the MassWorks. So there's 24/7, there's 8-hour-a-day inspection that goes on. So that's got a cost involved. But we're in a position where we didn't have to go to town meeting and say, we got to take this out of free cash. We got to steal from the schools to do this or something like that. We got a great grant and some great mitigation funds, and things are going really well. The contractor has we got a very good contractor. They've been in business for. I used to compete with them over 30 years ago. My father, 30 years before that. So, Walsh Contracting from Attleboro has been around a long time, a good reputation, and so far we're very pleased with their work as well. So.
And Don, this project was first talked about in 2003, 2004. We did takings for this project around 2008, 2009. And here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, different variations over the years, which is probably why people thought a Rotary was going in. Maybe 10 years ago, there was a discussion of Rotary.
There was no doubt. It was over 10. It was probably almost before the turn of the century. There was talk about. It was even before the Common was built. There was talk about not necessarily a Rotary, but a section of not unlike what Franklin had, a triangular section of one-way streets. So that you didn't, that was talked about, but again, once the Common went in, once Elmex was gone, and the Common went in, which tells how long I've been here. that sort of idea, went out the window. But this is I'm gonna let Drew talk about what the actual construction is with the projects. But yeah, we've known, this intersection works poorly. It is, it's sort of a typical New England intersection where it really wasn't designed to handle traffic, not bad with, horse and buggy. But once we got past that era, and you start talking about businesses, and again, many of them outside of Bellingham, businesses and commuters
Passing through, right? Yeah.
passing through that spot, so
You're
that's,
right, the layout in front really hasn't changed
Right.
in 150 years. And I think we have a picture of it going to show up on the screen, and you can see exactly what it looks like, what I'm talking about. That's turn of the century.
Yeah.
And
Before
it shows,
stoplights and, yeah.
and it shows exactly what's going on, and it's incredible. Drew, maybe you can talk a little bit about time frame and what we can actually expect out there as far as what it's going to look like when it's finished. I know we have some plans that we're putting up while you're discussing it, and maybe you can talk us through it, and we'll go out and take a look in just a minute.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of construction timeline, the project started, I believe, late spring. The contractor was able to get out there late spring, early summer, get going. Right now, we're projecting to have all our underground utility work completed before the winter shutdown, weather permitting. Hopefully,
Never know in
the
New
snow holds
England,
out.
right?
Hopefully, the snow holds out. Although
Just 70 yesterday.
I am trying to get on the ski slope soon. So
Yeah.
and then we're projected to complete the project probably late spring, early summer of 2022. So it's about a year-long project. And in terms of the overall goals of the project, of course, we have traffic and safety improvements that are proposed, as well as some additional pedestrian and bicycle accommodations, which I can get into if you would like.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
So again, the plans are going to be posted on the town website, I know as well, probably your best reference. But the main components of the project are kind of threefold. The first being we're going to be widening on the town hall side of the roadway for an additional northbound lane. So you'll have 2 through northbound lanes, stretching from Mechanic Street, Route 140, onto North Main Street, Route 126. So that'll help facilitate the traffic flow kind of through the area. I know there's a lot of congestions that happens between the 2 signalized intersections, so that'll help get the traffic out of the way and improve the level of service. In addition, we will be adding a turn lane on Mendon Street on the approach to the intersection, which will allow us to have one left turn lane onto North Main Street and then a separate right turn lane to go south onto either
Perfect.
South Main Street or Mechanic Street. In addition to that, we will be adding a shared use path, which is just a separated, basically wider sidewalk that will allow bicycles and pedestrians to use, and that's on the town hall side of the road. So there's a lot of other work that has to go on in order to build these improvements. Utility pole relocations, there's work being done to the water main, the drainage system has to be modified. We got a few cement concrete retaining walls, or stone masonry retaining walls going up, excuse me. Yeah, just a lot of work, a lot of impacts to the surrounding properties, but we were able to reduce this as much as we could while still achieving the goals of the project.
What I love about what you just said is that it's gonna not only improve the traffic, but it's gonna also help us maintain that small town feel with the walkways and, just making it easy for people to walk around downtown, which is one of the biggest criticisms I hear often is that you can't really ride your bikes feeling safe anyway, because it's just so compacted right now. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be very much well received by our residents a year from now, but just being patient with what we're looking at when we drive in front of the town hall. I see those huge, what are those giant pipe things? They look like they're made out of concrete. You probably know what it is, but for those of us that are not,
The big concrete things are usually manholes or stormwater structures.
so that's what they look like,
there
but it's
isn't any
underground.
Those go
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, it's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
well,
see them when we go
Yeah,
out
we'll
there.
get the,
Yeah.
So, interesting, you're saying early summer, late spring, early summer for substantial completion of the project?
yeah, June 30th is the target completion date, and the contractor doesn't see any problem, nor do we, of him getting it done by then. So,
That's phenomenal. So I know we had been talking internally,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be late fall, winter, because the contractor got going a little later than what we expected. However, as you said, it's a great contractor. The other thing, Don, a lot of people were concerned about the takings. We're cutting into the front yards of different properties. The biggest taking really was from the town,
Right.
from ourselves, but
Right.
I will say that not a single taking was contested. The town gets appraisals done by a certified appraiser, commercial appraiser, and the town pays what's fair. And I think that's important. Not only that, but Dawn and I met with all of the property owners to make sure that if parking was lost, we tried to create new parking next door or across the street. I think that's very important,
Yeah.
Don, that we took
We
the
always do
time.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a project, this is sort of an isolated project, so but it was very impactful to some of the property owners. So it was not really, not simple, but it's something that, that was definitely what we try to do every time we're having any kind of land acquisition.
Right.
But yeah, I think it worked out really well. We had pretty good cooperation with all of the property owners, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Tremendous
Yeah.
cooperation.
Yeah, and I hope they'll be happy with the finished product when it's there. I mean, it is their front yard effectively, so,
Yep.
but it's gone well.
Good. All right, what do you think?
Yeah.
Anything else, or should we go
So
outside?
let me also throw out this, like, as this project is wrapping up, the project right next to it on South Main Street will be
Good
getting
point.
started.
Right.
If the game plan is as follows from Mass DOT, and I expect it will be or close to it, they'll be advertising in December for the project that is a TIP project, Traffic Improvement Program, which is it's effectively about a $7 million grant to the town, because once we finish the design, having CHA Drew's company finish the design work, which they're almost done with now, we hand it over to Mass DOT and they pay all the bills from there.
Right.
And that will go from Douglas Drive up to the center of town with widening, again, sort of enhancing the bicycle use areas,
Right.
making it more bicycle and pedestrian friendly, and improving the roadway conditions, as we all know, it needs it badly in that section. So that's queuing up to happen right away. So there'll be some construction in this area for a while.
Right.
And that project will take a couple of years. That will be into 2023.
We have the
before,
design of that will show up as well, but sidewalks on both sides, bike lanes.
Yeah,
just
widened shoulders and painted bike lanes. So and drainage improvements, significant drainage improvements that help us meet our MS4 goals too. So.
Nice. So this is going to be part one of multiple, I don't know if we call them episodes. I'm not really hip with the TV world lingo, but we're going to be taking a tour around town. Maybe that's the next stop that we go and actually film where the development is taking place. We're also going to be turning up 140. Got a lot of development happening up there. So our goal is to just keep you informed and let you know about all the exciting developments happening here in Bellingham.
Maybe we can get inside some of these large warehouses
Yes.
and give people a sense of what actually goes on.
Right.
I know 20 years ago inside the Dunkin' Donuts facility warehouse on Depot Street, we had a tour, and it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So we can get inside some of these buildings, take a look,
Right.
and some of the ones that are under construction. So
Perfect.
what do you think? Should we go outside?
Yes, let's do it. All right.
Hey,
We'll
Put
be
your
back.
coats on, it's cold today.
Yes. Okay, so we're out here. It's a little chilly. Going to give you the actual hands-on or bird's eye view, I guess you could call it, of what this project is going to look like. We'll start first with you, Don. Do you want to give a quick overview of what we're looking at back here, and then we'll pass it over to Drew?
We're standing in the Tricentennial Common, if I get the name right.
Hold
And with our backs to the intersection. And what you see behind me is the widening area. So some of that area that's dug up will be turned into a travel lane. Some of it will be the shared use path. The construction you see right here, and if the orange paint comes up, will be a retaining wall that goes up in front of the old town hall as part of the project. So that's, it's sort of not terribly thrilling right now, but we did also, you can see from here, is our new mast arms, the black mast arms, which are more aesthetically pleasing than the galvanized. So we've tried to enhance the downtown feel, the downtown look of our town center. You can see fairly clearly there's a set of poles on your left. Our left is looking at them, and the new poles moved away. So there's a set of poles that are coming out, and we've actually had very good luck with the power in company and so forth. Sometimes relocating the utilities is a very delaying factor. It really hasn't been on this project. They've moved up very quickly, got the new poles in. So yeah, that's sort of what we're looking at right now. Again, the contractor is mostly working over in that area, but yeah, what he's doing today is not real thrilling anyway. I think he's just doing a water service abandonment, so we don't need a water service still available to the Domino's building that'll eventually be demolished. So.
Yeah, when is that building coming down? Do we have a date on that, Don?
That's
old Domino's?
I'm not sure. We don't have a date. That's really being done by the developer of the project out back here, the Red Mill development.
Okay.
But the sooner the better, as we're concerned. But it's not. It doesn't affect this project in any way, but it definitely affects the aesthetics of the downtown area.
Right.
So maybe some questions for Drew. Drew, when we look at what's going on down here, we talked about 2 through lanes coming through, 1 turning lane. Is it just kind of a cooperative process with people merging when they get down towards the Santander Bank?
Yeah, exactly. So you'll have 2 lanes going north in this direction, and then you'll have 2 receiving lanes, obviously, and then it will taper back to existing conditions, which is just 1 lane going north on North Main Street. And there is traffic that happens for people trying to turn left. The additional through lane will help people continue north, avoid that congestion there. And then in addition with the other improvements throughout this intersection over there, and as well as the widening on Menden Street, we will be able to allocate more signal time to that left turn so that people can turn easier onto Menden Street going north.
So that will help. I'll come over here so I can be heard.
Yep.
So that will help alleviate the log jam that we have in front of the Baptist church, because we have
Correct.
a log jam in front of the Baptist church.
The gridlock that happens here,
Right.
because this intersection is backing the other one up.
Right. So you also have 2 lanes. It starts the widening, the 2 lanes in the northbound direction starts right in front of the Walgreens driveway on Mechanic Street. So, yes, that'll help alleviate the log jam.
The other backup is heading south, coming up by the Dairy Queen, heading towards the town center. Is this going to help that backup at all?
That will help that backup as well for the same reason that I spoke of for the left turns onto Menden Street. We'll be able to allocate more signal time to that phase. So we'll be able to get more cars out and help alleviate the congestion. It's not going to be a perfect remedy.
Okay.
We are constrained. It's a pretty built up area as it is.
Right.
But it will be vastly improved.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can just get a shot of what's going on down here, Tyler. Tyler's our cameraman. And there was a lot of discussion about the Domino's building and why did we need to take it. I think it's pretty clear now, don't you think?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious when you look at all the development happening around it that that's got to go. And we need the space.
The actual widening comes right up to the front of that Domino's. So we did enter into an agreement with the owner of that property, and we purchased that property. We will be taking it down, and unfortunately, we lost Domino's. I know it was on my speed dial. I don't know about yours, but that's why. So that'll be coming down. It will give us an opportunity to see our old library, which is now the historical building built in 1930. So it'll open up the town center a little bit as well, as far as pedestrian traffic, as far as what you can see in the town center. And also we have a large-scale development, residential development, that's happening behind the municipal center.
Right.
And that project actually cuts in on Route 140, comes over, and again, we'll show a map of that so you superimpose it, but it actually comes out to Mill Street, which is right next door to us here, as well as it's going to come up behind the municipal center and access right out through the same entrance that we use in front of the Baptist church. So, Drew, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how that project, the residential project, is going to come out into the town center and how that's all going to work.
Yeah.
All right, and Drew's passing the baton over to Don.
Yeah, there'll be a road connecting off of Mill Street. It'll loop in behind the municipal center and connect out to the signalized intersection. It's probably going to be a secondary exit, but that large development. We'll have Mill Street, we'll have the Mechanic Street, and we'll have this exit. Some utilities related to that will go in there. The other thing that's sort of exciting about the cooperation with this developer, not only is he taking down the dominoes, but he's building for us the stormwater basin related to the tip project we talked about inside. Right. So we're looking back up this hill and up to just about to the church or beyond the church. All that runoff comes down here, and right now eventually goes down, and with no treatment, with no stormwater basin or whatever, the development out back will behind Walgreens build a stormwater basin that will handle that water. So it's sort of, the great thing is it helps us meet our MS4, our stormwater cleaning up requirement to get rid of the phosphorus, and it's being done at no cost to the town, and didn't put us in a position of having to take additional lands somewhere in order to put this basin in. So it was again an exciting partnership with the developer.
Right. And I think one of the other things that's very attractive to us with this developer is what the look and feel is going to be of the actual residential space. It's going to mirror a lot of what we have here with the walkways, and he really wants to create a place that people can live and walk to downtown. Sort of, again, that quaint, keeping Bellingham feeling.
You'll have the ability to walk from PJ's Rapid Refill on sidewalks through that neighborhood out behind the municipal center, come right up Mill Street or right up to Walgreens, walk across the street to the town common.
Right.
It's going to be a beautiful addition to the town downtown. One of the things we talked about in the master plan was making the town center more pedestrian friendly, and ultimately that's what this will do. It won't tone down the volume of the trucks coming through,
Right.
but it's certainly going to make it a much more pedestrian friendly town center.
Right. So once we get rid of all this stuff, it's going to have a really amazing feel and something that we'll be proud of to be
Looking forward
residents
to it.
here. Absolutely. Endure a little bit of traffic in the meantime, but it's all good. It's all for a good cause.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to be back next week,
soon.
maybe.
Yep.
Maybe
We'll
when
be
it's not
talking about-
25 degrees out here, Dennis. Like
I don't think
maybe
it's that
we'll
cold,
wait.
but we'll be talking about some of the other projects that are ongoing in town, and hopefully this was helpful and gives the residents a better picture of what's happening in the town center. So thanks to Drew, thanks to Dawn, and
Which is a good point too, Dennis. If anybody has questions on developments that are taking place in town, send us an email and we'll be happy to give you some live coverage of what's going on and the rationale and what to expect.
absolutely.
All right, take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.